Hi everyone, it's Toni here, back again, bringing you a couple of the Lady Vagabond cards today. They're a little bit steampunkish, just to go along with the theme of this Stamperia range. So I've already made a few cards using this 8x8 paper pad, and I've just got a few scraps left over. I still have a few still there to go that I can probably pull out and make either some little squares with or some tags. And I've still got this full front sheet as well. So these were the tags that the cards that I made last time. They were swap cards and I had a lot of detail that I had to include for the criteria. The cards I'm making today aren't quite as good as this, but they're still pretty okay, I reckon. So I've got two cards. The first is a 6x6 and the next is actually a 6 3/4 by 4 1/4. Because I've used the 12x12 cardstock for the base, I've had to actually fold it with that little bit of missing piece down there. So to cover that, my very first thing that I'm going to do is actually stick a piece just to add on to the inside there. And you know, it's actually really cool when you flip it open. It's a really fun element as well, and something that you usually don't suspect when you have a card like that. Of course, because it is a longer card, so it is a 6 by 3/4 by 4 1/4 inch. This is not a card that you can put into your regular envelope and throw into the mail. You will need a larger envelope or even possibly a custom made one. So I'm just throwing on some scraps here. I've got a strip that is a scrap there and just a little fussy cut piece that I've done as well. So again, I've tried to be a bit more organized in my my sharing projects and creations lately, and I've done some fussy cutting and stuff like that ahead of time. A very bit of basic planning, including distressing the edges and inking them, and I've even laid out some of the design elements as well. I have decided to quickly sort of speeden up the process of making these projects for you, because I know that our time is so valuable as crafters that you sort of just you like looking at some of the bits, but then fast forwarding is definitely something that I do, I know, and I know that quite a few others do as well. So it's okay to fast forward if you'd like to, but I have sped up the process in the videos just to make it a bit easier on us. So here I'm just layering a few different elements that I've got out of that 8x8 paper pad. Again, like I said, they're just leftover pieces that I had from the other 3 swap cards that I made. And now I'm just using pieces, basically scrap pieces that I didn't use. I'm just using to make some more. I've got plenty left over. I'm really excited about, because there's still quite a bit left over that I can still do some more. Just here, when I first laid out this card, I had originally laid it out to have that flying ship on the left side of the card, so I'm just trying to lift that up to move it, and it just wasn't going to move. So it can stay there. I will adapt and wing it, and just, it's not going to be just how I had it in mind when I first started laying it out, but that's okay, because it's all right to adapt and change when we need to. Mistakes do happen, and we just take those mistakes and use them as opportunities to create something different and something new. So I've used quite a few of the little bits of fussy cut pieces. Quite a few of these I already had cut out that were leftovers from the other 3 swap cards that I made. So it didn't really take too much time for me to fussy cut out some of these images, because they were already done, which of course I loved. I thought, because we all know that I'm not that great with fussy cutting. And then, of course, distressing the edges and inking them really helps with any imperfections that I have when it comes to fussy cutting. So that is card 1, 99% done. You may wonder why I mean by having the extra 1%, but that's to come later on. So this card here is a square. It is the 6x6. I've then cut some glitter cardstock down to 5 3/4 by 5 3/4. And I've cut out the centerpiece. I think I've got about a 1-inch frame going on there. I've put the middle piece off to the side because one, I'll use that later. And two, that middle piece, because it's so hard to glue to glitter cardstock, by gluing that and adhering that in the middle to just the base of the card, it makes it so much easier for it to now adhere. So that's a little tip and trick for anyone out there that has a lot of questions. We get that question asked quite a lot actually, is how can we get our, get paper or get any sort of embellishment to stick to the glitter cardstock. I always say a really, really good heavy glue, liquid glue is a really good thing. So the Express It glue is really good for that. And again, I'm just layering. I'm putting down my first base layer. I'm putting down a little mat up the top there. And then I've got some surgical gauze there as well. So this is not a human grade one. It's actually a vet grade gauze, sorry. And that just goes down. It tears open a bit easier and much nicer for my own liking. I then put down half of this doily chipboard. It is a Kaiser piece. And the reason why I've only got half is because I had to make 3 cards for my swaps, which meant that I had half a doily on each. And this doily was literally just left over. So, of course, grabbing stuff out of my scrap box and things like that is always a good thing. And I used that just with the little ink pad that I showed before. It's from a copper colour. And I just literally just stamped over the top of it to colour it. Nice and simple. I don't do things too tricky most of the time. Most of the things that I do are fairly simple. And it's sort of stuff that any beginner can learn first off. And that's what I like to do. I like to do projects that can be inspirational for beginners to have a go at, but then also be sort of good enough that anyone with a bit of experience or advanced in their paper crafting can add to the project themselves. So add your own, embellishments or your own techniques and different elements to layouts or to cards to really give them your own magic. This little piece, I'm adding just a tiny little brad in there just to give it a little bit of, shine, I suppose. So thank you very much for joining me today. I haven't said that yet, so please do know my appreciation. I love when people come and join the videos. Of course, send me a little bit of love down there, whether you share it or comment or give me a like or anything like that. It's definitely appreciated. Now, to finish off these cards, you may think that they're perfect just as they are, but I'm going to now ruin them with a little bit of the white spray. So it did actually go on a bit clumpier than what I thought, but that's okay because I've sort of tried to dab off a little bit of the excess there, and in real life, they look really cool. So I know that it may come up a bit heavy on the video, but in real life, it's actually it's a lot more transparent than what it looks. It looks pretty cool, to be honest. And it just adds that different fun, mixed media-ish almost element to it. So thank you very much again for joining me today. I do appreciate it, and I will see you again sometime soon. Thank you. Happy scrapping. Bye.